Welcome to yet again another episode of Real Talk with Real Fit Pros. It's your boy Jonathan Loudermilk, and I've got my PIC. Woo. If you don't know what that means, that's partner in crime, Mark Zamanoff, the Fitness Ninja, and we have another special guest in the house.
And I can probably say this, and this will probably hold true for a while. Both literally and physically, we have the biggest guest that we've ever had. I'm going to give you a little background on this guy and tell you who he is and let him have at it. So he is a sales coach for over 12 years at the highest level in the fitness industry and now in the roofing industry. Works for Linear Roofing, which I believe is the largest roofer in the state of Texas.
Yeah, re-roofing, for sure.
Got it. He has developed over thousands of sales personnel over the years, has helped build multi-million-dollar roofing business by recruiting, training, and developing its sales force and procedures. And 3 years ago, took up bodybuilding because, you know, what else are you doing with your time? And he is an IFBB Pro. We will let you know how to look him up on the Instagram later. Yeah. And I'll tell you a little Instagram story about our buddy Zach in a little bit. He is one of the top new classic physique pros in the world. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Taveras, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, so we always start with story time.
Okay.
And you have a high bar to attain to. So what you got for us today?
Yeah, you sent me one of those stories and I was dying laughing. I was like, man, I gotta follow this up. But thank you guys truly for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's nice because I've done a couple of podcasts recently, and those were more directly related to more business. So I really appreciate you guys having me on to really be able to focus in on fitness and that path. And, you know, that's been a huge part of my life. So I love that I get to be on something like this. But story time. So you're going to like this one. I turned pro at MPC Universe in New Jersey. This was about a year and a half into competing in the bodybuilding community. You know, in that year and a half, I heard things such as, there are some weird type people out there in the bodybuilding community. It's just weird. They're into some weird shit, right? Body worshiping and those kind of things. And I've just heard of those things, but I was like, never experienced those things. I hadn't had someone ask me to do any of those things, right? After I turned pro at Universe, which was my third show, I ended up getting a DM on Instagram after that pro win. After I turned pro, and the DM was like, man, if you could just save those bodybuilding trunks that you wore for that win and don't wash them, I will pay you thousands of dollars to send me your dirty draws that you wore on stage.
Oh my God.
I was like, that's kind of weird. kind of weird that someone would pay for that, right? And they didn't want me to wash them. That was the stipulation. So that was wild.
Hold on. Guy or girl?
It was a guy. Okay. It was a guy.
Of course it was.
And I got another one that just, man, if you would allow me to do a live video with you and flex for pay, just flex your muscles and I will pay you thousands of dollars from dudes. I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. This is not what I signed up for. Right? Yeah, so needless to say, there's some weird shit out there.
There's rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it. It's like one of the rules of the internet.
I think it's one of the perks of the membership, man. Once you get your card, it's in that small print. They're like, hey, you may get unsolicited DMs that are propositioning you for $1,000.
I would have went into bodybuilding sooner if I knew I could make thousands of dollars just selling my underwear.
You just motivated me.
Right? It's like, damn, that's a reason to get big.
So we'll make sure, for you guys listening, we'll make sure you get Tony's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is nuts.
Wow.
There really is something for everyone in there.
There is. Absolutely, there is.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Dude, these stories are great, man.
I didn't make that up. It's real. I experienced it. Real life.
We keep raising the bar. It's awesome. So, one of the reasons that I wanted you on here is again, we're really focused on talking to fitness professionals,
Yeah.
and we constantly find it's the mindset piece that holds so many people back. They're good coaches. They're great when they're with people. They have, they're kind of figuring out the online thing. But man, it's what's between the ears that they just can't seem to get right. Yeah. And you have essentially created this life where you're just excelling at literally whatever you do.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about maybe the background of where that mindset came from and how it's allowed you to develop over the last 12 years into what you are now.
Yeah, I would definitely say I have to give credit to my parents. I had a phenomenal upbringing, from the lessons that they taught me to the mentality that they told me I would have to have in order to be successful in this life. They didn't give me anything. They made me earn it. So all those qualities bled into me as my light switch turned on in my early 20s. An example in the sports arena, something my parents did early. They didn't allow themselves just to pay me an allowance. And I remember thinking back, like, what was it that made me say, man, I have to get really good and really hone in my skills to get rewarded. Like, I'm not going to be handed shit in life. And I remember I was coming up in a small town playing football, small town called Groesbeck, Texas, 3A school, really, really country, and I was kind of the superstar of the town. I was on varsity my sophomore year, and I was voted a captain before I even took a snap on the field. Like, the seniors and juniors voted me a captain, and I hadn't even played varsity yet. But I remember something my parents did. They created an allowance system where for every tackle, for every sack, for every interception, for touchdown, I had a score chart of what I would be making based on my performance on the field.
Ooh, I like that.
Crazy what that will do to a kid as they move into real life, and they're on their own. They understand, like, you have to put the work in. You can't just talk about it. You have to actually perform, and that's how you're rewarded. So I'll never forget that, which my parents did. And Groesbeck, Texas, a little tidbit there. Our mascot was a goat. A goat, okay? A goat. We moved there early when I was about 10 years old. And I remember saying to my dad, I was like, Dad, why do we have to move to Groesbeck? The mascot is a goat. It's in the country. I mean, I'm not going to fit in here. We just left a bulldog. He's like, son, are you crazy? Do you not know what the goat means? I'm like, no. It's greatest of all time.
Yep.
That's Muhammad Ali. That's Michael Jordan. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Ever since then, I was known as the GOAT. I mean, my nickname has stuck since I was 11, 12 years old, because I was kind of the prodigy from that small town to go on to do big things. Like, a lot of people just stayed in that small town, and they didn't get out of it. They had the mentality, they were stuck. And so I've been known as the GOAT ever since, and that's kind of my nickname. Even in the Pro League, the IFBB Pro League, they call me the GOAT. But I'm not the greatest of all time yet in the Pro League. But I've been that since I was 12, and I've tried to embody what it's going to take to be the greatest at whatever I'm doing. And that's bled into your point. On anything I try and touch, I try and do it to the best of my ability. Anything I touch, I know that I'm representing my parents' name. Like, my name means something. Like, I want people to know that I'm bringing respect to my parents' name. And those are some drivers.
Woo. Dude, I think there's a lot of gold in what you just shared right there. But that last part about that pride with your name, and that I can smell it on you, dude. That level of ownership that you're taking with everything, man. I think that's really a big thing that a lot of people are missing, is not taking the pride in the little things, knowing that those little things will add up to the big things over time. Just like those tackles, sacks, interceptions, and all those points add up. So, what would you say was that aha moment for you that really go, I'm gonna own this name, and this is what this means to me? I know you said your parents helped with that, but was there a specific moment where that shift happened?
Yeah, because, I had a really horrible injury in college. I ended up getting recruited. So I'll give you a little background there in history. My senior year, of high school, it felt like if anything could go wrong, it went wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I was projected. A bunch of different sports, but powerlifting I picked up my senior year. I became second all state. I was projected to go and battle for the title for the state. I remember the local meet. It was my first year ever doing it. I ended up wearing tights underneath my uniform, and I got disqualified.
Oh yeah.
I completely tore my ankle up 4 games into the season, and I was already going in as an all-state type of candidate. It was like every single sport I did my senior year went wrong, right? And so I didn't get the offers that I was a super athlete. I didn't get the offers that I needed to get because I didn't really get to perform my senior year. I ended up getting recruited by Princeton and Harvard, ended up taking visits to those schools, and I was just like, man, I didn't want to go Ivy League. You know, I wanted to play D1 ball. You know, so I stayed local. I went to North Texas. You know, my freshman redshirt year, I actually walked on. That's part of that dog in me, if I can be honest. I walked on, and you know, they said, come on, and you can earn an opportunity at a scholarship. Instead of going in Ivy League, I chose that route. So I was the underdog walking into college, and I had to fight for everything. And I was the hardest worker in the room. I mean, I remember by the time I was 2 years into college, I was lifting with the defensive tackles. I was a middle linebacker. I mean, I was lifting with the big boys because I couldn't lift with the linebackers. I was too strong.
I mean, what a curse.
Yeah.
What a
Shots
curse to have.
fired.
You know, I couldn't lift with my positional players, my running backs and linebackers. So, you know, but, you know, in college, my freshman redshirt year, I mean, I was coming into my own. I was running a 4.6. I mean, I was benching 500 something pounds. I was a freak. I was an animal in college. And second game, I got cut on a kickoff. My hip and pelvis came out of alignment. I got cut. I flipped. I was in such excruciating pain after that game, I could barely walk. And I was seeing a doctor and a specialist for about 3-4 months, and I just knew I was getting sharp pains up my pelvis, and I was like, man, this is telling me my football's over. I'm not going to be able to play with my kids down the line. After I had to walk away from the game because of that injury, I ended up going into a dark place because I didn't have that discipline. I didn't have that reason to be structured. And I lost myself for about a year or two into the partying, trying to get into fraternities, trying to fit in somewhere. And I remember I was going off the deep end, and my mom sends me a letter to my dorm, to college, and said, man, we did not raise our son this way. I did not raise you to be doing what you're doing right now. Man, that hit me. And my light switch went off. I was like, nope. And to what I said about the name, I was like, I am not going to disrespect and let my parents down. I'm their only child together. So I'm like, I am them two combined. So that meant something to me, that I'm their only combination. I got to be extraordinary. And I think more people need to think about that.
Man, that like gives me chills.
Dude, if you guys were in this studio, you would feel like the electricity. Because he just dropped I'm basically Rudy. That's the first one. And now he's the Lion King as he comes in. So you basically have lived out both those movies through your personal life, man. That's awesome. That fires me up.
And I think it's, you know, it's indicative of what we see with successful people is we all have to overcome adversity.
Yeah.
And so few people are willing to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting. And, you know, there's a lot of things at play there. I mean, you're blessed with great parents, obviously. Yeah. A lot of people lack that. But at some point, you know, we're all grown-ass people. And you have to take ownership. Yeah. And if you're willing to do that and willing to fight and willing to own who you are as a man, regardless of who your parents are or what your background is, like at some point you have to say, look, I was designed for more.
Yes.
And, you know, our circle of people, we always talk about being the most elite version of ourselves.
Yep.
And what does that look like? And damn near everything you just described is that.
Yeah.
It's not accepting the partying. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, we all go through those phases, but it's not accepting anything less than what we know we're really capable of doing.
Yeah. And a lot of people when they see you then doing really well and they see all this success coming to your life, they're like, oh, he's got a silver spoon. It's all fed to him.
Or about this, it must be nice.
Must be nice. He got it all handed. It's like
he got
they
lucky.
didn't see all the shit and the grinding you had to go through and the mental fortitude it takes to not give up and pick yourself back up and believe you can do better.
Yeah, and I think a common thread, too, is just, it's failing forward, right? Because we're all going to fail.
Yeah.
And we're all going to have setbacks. And, those shifts that we have to go through when the plan didn't work.
Yeah.
And we didn't think, oh, shit, what if that didn't work? We never thought, we don't think that way. A lot of us, again, in this sphere of, we're going to achieve all these things. And when that thing doesn't pan out, then what do you do?
Yeah.
And so having that mentality is so important, and just being able to pivot and go, okay, well, that didn't work. Now what?
Yep.
And not everyone has that.
Nope.
That's tough, man. So talk a little bit about you just got into bodybuilding not really that long ago, right? So what was the transition, or what was the thing that went, I'm gonna go do that now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because I was in the fitness industry for about 8 years, and I'm sure we'll probably get into some of that. But I was with LA Fitness for 8 years. I ran multi-million-dollar training facilities. I had tons of trainers all over the country, tons of personal training directors. So I was immersed in the industry for quite some time. I mean, from playing football to now coaching people on how to sell training and deliver excellent quality. But I never decided I wanted to compete and in the bodybuilding arena. But after LA Fitness, when I got into roofing, I had a little bit more freedom. When you're in fitness and you're in the box every day, it's like you're trying to sometimes get out of the box and you want your hobby to kind of be outside of work. Right. I mean, I was at work 12 hours every single day running fitness clubs. I'm like trying to find something else outside of there. I didn't want to spend all my free time now in there, right? But after I left that industry, it's like, okay, I love this industry. I love the discipline. I love working out. I love what it does for my brain and feeling. And my girl at the time said, it's on my bucket list to do a show. I mean, that's really how it happened. It was on her bucket list. And she wasn't even big time into fitness, but she was like, I'd like to do a show. Yeah. She brought it up and I said, you know what the hell? You want to do a show? Let's just do a show. And I found a coach quickly. It was like that. It's like spontaneous. Let's do it. Let's not even think about it. Let's act. And 4 months later, we stepped on stage at the Kuklo Classic. Yep. And in my first show, I won the overall for the Classic Physique division, and I was hooked. I mean, I was hooked. Being up there, being able to perform, and it was more than just muscles. It was art. It was artistry to me, being able to perform to music and put on a show. Because what was also one of my loves and passions as a child growing up was theater. I loved acting. I loved playing the one-act play roles in my school. And so, I mean, I've played Quasimodo. I had dreads. I had a hunchback. I've been, the hunchback of Notre Dame, this Dominican, right? Weird. But I've played all kinds of roles, so I loved it. So I loved that you could put fitness in with kind of acting and artistry and performance. And that's how it happened. That's how I got hooked. That first win. Who knows what would have happened if I would have lost that first show? I might have been like, man, I don't like this.
Well, I did that. Check it off the list.
I don't know,
That's funny. I was in one act in high school, mainly because I'm really small and I wasn't really a great athlete. So
it was like band or one act.
Yeah, that's kind of what it came down to. So, one act was basically me and a bunch of chicks in a room all the time. So, kind of playing the odds. Yeah. It was good.
Maybe you get one of those roles where you can kiss one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. The girl that you might like.
So funny. So what, I don't know a whole lot about the different types of bodybuilding and in the division. So what role are you in that realm?
Yeah. It's a good question. There's so many different divisions. The Classic Physique division was created a couple of years ago because there was this difference between a 212 bodybuilder and true bodybuilding. And you had to get pretty enormous. I mean, ginormous to compete at a high level, and a little extreme for some. And some didn't really want to aspire to look like that. Like for me, I didn't want to look like this huge Hulk, massive guy. Like I would rather have more aesthetics and look more pleasant and have better lines and development, so to speak, of what you look like when you perform.
And by the way, not to cut you off, but when you see this dude, to hear him say he doesn't want to look big is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. No, I'm big now, but you know, the classic physique division, what it is it doesn't have an unlimited weight. So in bodybuilding, you can be whatever weight you want. So people are stepping on stage 250 to 300 pounds.
Got it.
You know, no matter their height. But classic physique is about how great can your physique be with a limited weight, with the weight cap to your height. So you can only put on so much muscle on your frame. So it's, you know, how great can you be at that? So for me, I'm up to 5'11". So I can only weigh in before a contest at 222 pounds.
Got it.
So I have to be the best 222 pounds I could be. I have to create this shape and this look to be the best at that maximum. And that's the big difference.
I love that.
Dude, that's dope. So that's like looking at the best of the best within this area versus just stacking a bunch of meat on and just beating them with just sheer mass.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it changes based on your height. So if you're 5'7" or 5'8", you know, you may be 180, 190 you have to be. So I'm going against guys that weigh much less, but it's all relative to the height. So the proportions are more towards the same.
I dig that. And you know, from a mindset standpoint, understanding what you're trying to accomplish, you said it, like the very best I can be at this weight.
Yeah.
That I believe is a mindset that we all need to adopt in what is the very best I can be in my role as a husband, my role as a father, my role as a business owner, my role as a coach, my role as a son.
Yes.
In so many, you know, again, I just go back to that. So many people just settle and accept for, well, it's the status quo. It's good enough. All the people around me are like that too, so no big deal. But, you know, getting around people like you and some of the other people in our circle, like, man, you have no choice but to level up or level out.
Oh, yeah. And that's where I fell in love with bodybuilding, was those qualities that you just brought up. Like, you know, you may spend an entire year, every single day, disciplined, day in, day out, eating, you know, things that maybe aren't enjoyable, you know, looking at your body more truly as a machine. You're not looking at food as this pleasure type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a different level of discipline. It may be a whole year you're working on improving to stand on a stage for 10 minutes. You're putting in a whole year to stand on a stage for 10 minutes. And I was like, wow, that is something else. Like, you could carry that over into so many things. The discipline that you need to compete at the highest level will translate into just what you said, to being a father and being a husband and being a leader of men. And I grabbed hold of that. Yeah.
I love that. So speaking of that, you're married.
Not married.
You're not married. Do you have a child?
Yes. Have a daughter.
And you're very successful in what you do.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that work, home life, fitness? Because, you know, John and I were talking earlier about, you're not just showing up to the gym and working out for 45 minutes and out you go. You know, like you said, it's art behind it.
Yeah.
And your food has to be structured. Like, everything's got to be structured. So how do you formulate your day to make sure you're checking off all those boxes and showing up in all the arenas that you need to show up for?
Yeah, I think the best way I have to be able to describe it for anyone even looking to get into the realm is you have to be so structured and organized with your daily habits. Like, it is your habits, it is your routine that creates how successful you're going to be. Because someone that is all over the place, doing one thing one day, another thing the next day, they're never going to get there. You know, so it's like every week I know I'm up at a certain time. Every week I know Monday is this muscle group. Every Tuesday is this muscle group based on my plan. So I have a plan walking into every week, every month, really every 12-month stretch. I know what the end goal is. I know what I need to be working on, and I break it down into every day. This is what I need to do to achieve those goals. So if you're not structured, you're not organized, you don't have a great daily calendar, then you're not going to be able to fit everything in. You're going to feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to piggyback on that man, is, dude, you got some experience slinging some PT deals up in the club, man.
Yeah.
And dude, that's where I got my start, man, just hustling from the Bob, and now we're here, you know what I'm saying? So anytime we get an excuse to talk about selling fitness, I'm going to take my opportunity. So what you just talked about with daily behaviors and habits.
Yeah.
What were the successful daily habits and behaviors that you saw with the trainers that you worked with and then building successful businesses?
Yeah, I believe, it really had to do with mindset and attitude and the belief that you could be great at whatever you sought out to. Like I would build such fun cultures. Cultures. Like I remember being 21 years old running my first store. I was given a $10 million club. I was 21. I didn't really know what I was doing, guys. I mean, I was just a football player who was just told to sell some training, right? And I remember I was 21, and what I did was I made it. It was like a game.
Right.
We were having fun. I mean, I remember I'd have different guys on the team, and we would create characters for each other. I mean, we would be superheroes. Like we would embody certain characters or spirit animals. Like it was
honey badgers.
Honey badgers, unicorns, goats, and we would embody these things, and it would be fun to go to work. It wasn't like, oh man, I gotta go to work and do PT. It was like, I'm going to have fun with my boys, and we're gonna change some lives. And it was really molded about helping as many people as we could.
Yeah, man.
Truly changing lives is the culture that we built. And it wasn't about, I think a lot of times when you're selling PT, a lot of people get caught up in the invoice, because we had a daily invoice number.
Right.
I got to the point where my invoice number, I had to sell $12,000 a day. I mean, a day in invoice in my club. By the time I left that store, we were billing $125,000 a month in EFT. And that was besides what we were taking in cash. I mean, it was a monster. I had over 18 trainers, but it all stemmed from the culture of having fun and helping people.
Yeah, man, I think it's easy to forget that too, especially for like a lot of the solopreneurs that we work with, because you're not in that culture. You don't have that person that's leading the way, and you have to create that environment for yourself, or find communities to join, like obviously how we've all connected. And you brought me back to, I've worked for a lot of different companies. I was telling you before we got on. One of my favorite ones I worked at was this company called The Rush, and we did themed closeouts.
Yes. Closeout.
That's how I know this is my guy right here. I said closeout.
And I lit up,
baby.
Yeah, I know.
You lit up. You my people, man.
Yeah.
So
your eyes just got so big.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he just sold something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite closeouts we did was Russia-mania. Mm-hmm. We all dressed up like WrestleMania characters.
Yeah.
And I did Kurt Angle because I just started losing my hair, so I got defaulted into that. But man, the environment of having that and watching people come in, going, "What the hell is going on?" I'm like, "We're doing Russia-mania today."
Absolutely.
And we've got training. How much you getting today?
Yes.
Like that was the attitude, and it just became this buying frenzy almost, because people wanted to be a part of that, man.
Yes.
And we would stay there for 14, 15 hours.
There you go.
Like I wouldn't leave till like after midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was fun.
It was fun.
You were enjoying it. I remember Halloweens, we would be dressing up in all these costumes.
Right. Yep.
And I remember, when I got into the industry, it was like I didn't have any limitations because I hadn't been a part of other fitness clubs. I was so green. I didn't have these limitations on what was possible on closeouts. And I remember in one of my first closeouts running that club at 21 years old, I asked the VP at the time, I said, what's the record ever done in Texas? I just want to know what the record is.
Yeah.
Right, for a store. It was like $45,000 in a day or something like that at the time. And I was like, I'm going to go beat it.
Yeah.
I was 3 months in. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I was gonna go beat it because I didn't have any limitations of what was like people create, like that's not possible.
Right.
So I didn't have this, that's not possible to go do this. I just said, okay, 45K is the mark. What do I need to do to get past that? Let me figure that out. Yeah. I'm telling you, we invited every restaurant, studio, business, everything around our club to our closeout, and we had booths everywhere. I'm talking 40, 50 booths. I had the Chick-fil-A cow dancing in the club. In the middle of the club, the Chick-fil-A cow is running around, and we got people going crazy to buy PT.
Yeah.
And other people, you got your people that are like, what the hell are they doing?
Right.
I'm like, we are having
fun.
fun, baby. Yep. And we selling some PT. Yeah.
I think so many people underestimate the power of entertainment and fun.
Yeah.
And like you said, you get trapped up in the business and the numbers and all that, and you truly lose sight of why so many fitness professionals got in the first place. And you said it's to help people.
Yes.
And I believe there is a way to keep that in the forefront and be successful. And, you know, sometimes you get these people in corporate environments that they're so far removed from being a trainer, or they never were one in the first place. And, you know, they're just answering to somebody else, so they don't know any better. But those of us who've been doing it for this long, like, I have a successful gym because we have fun.
Yes.
You know, because my people don't really like to work out. I mean, most people don't.
Right.
You know, I get told I'm number one several times during every hour that I'm there, but they always leave with a smile on their face.
Yep.
And I make sure of that.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps people coming back. And I'm sure both of you guys have seen it over the years. All of us have clients that never see the results that they really should.
Yeah.
So why do they come back? Because they enjoy it, because they're part of a community, because they're part of something bigger than themselves.
Yes.
And I think when we keep that in the forefront of our mind of what are we really doing? Like, why did we get into this business in the first place? Then it shows. It always shines through.
Yeah, man, they come for the result and stay for the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can build that culture with it. Like, that's what it's really about.
Relationship, man. You said it. That's now, even with linear, it's like, what are we really doing? We're building lasting relationships. If people just understand, if you just treat people great and you build great relationships and you're genuine and you truly want to connect with people, it's not like a facade.
Right.
They can feel that shit.
Yeah. You don't need to know the Wolf of Wall Street one-liner closers, which are, don't get me wrong, they're cool to hear. And but if you just give a shit about people, people sense that. You can't fake that.
No.
And just simply have the confidence to go, hey, let's get you started today.
Yeah.
You know?
So Tony, let me ask you this. When you wake up in the morning, something gets you out of bed. What is that?
I would say, you know, besides the fact of, you know, that name that I'm carrying, and I would say, you know, the question is, why am I here? You know, it's like when you really, I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately and just trying to dive internally on who I really am. What do I really want? Why am I really here? And it's to impact as many people as I can while I'm on this earth. Like, we only have, it's like 28,000 some odd days on average that you live, like the average life. It's like I'm almost at the halfway mark. I don't have much time, you know, and while I'm here, I want to impact and change as many lives as possible around me for the better, and truly be able to leave a legacy to remember. Like, I want people saying, man, that guy changed my life. That's why I wake up every day. You know, now we have over 100, you know, project managers. And I think of, you know, every project manager has a family. They got kids. Like, we are affecting generations by the way that we impact those around us. Generations, you know. So that's why, you know, that's what gets me up out of bed every day. And every day when I wake up, I do believe it's very important to make sure and I've been doing this since I was in my 20s in sales, start your day out with some either positive affirmations or some positive messaging. I think some people just wake up and they just, I'm out the door. Right. It's like you gotta set the tone. I'm like, set the tone for your day. Wake up and give yourself some energy, some positive energy, because people feel that shit throughout the day. So you know, a lot of times when I'm eating breakfast, I'm listening to an Eric Thomas video.
baby.
Yes, that's my boy.
Yeah, man.
I've met him directly for breakfast. But
that's awesome.
Les Brown, Tony Robbins, C.T. Fletcher, T.D. Jakes. I mean, I'm listening to a video. I got it playing. So maybe I pick up something from that in the morning, and I can use one of those messages to pass on to someone else during the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've always been a firm believer that every lesson that we go through can be used to teach somebody else the same exact thing. Yeah. And, you know, I love what you said about we don't have a lot of time, because everyone thinks they got time until they don't, right?
Yeah.
You talked about the days. I talk about weeks. So the average human has 4,100 weeks of life. 4,100. That's it. And I know I'm about halfway there as well. And the older I get, the more like it's morbid to some people, but the more death is front and present because I'm like, okay, well, what if this is it?
Yeah.
What if this is my last time? How do I want to leave this room? What's the impression I want to leave on John? What's the impression I want to leave on you? If we never see each other again, what are you going to say about me?
Yeah.
And I think about those things, and it's a great driver. And I think it does take getting older. You know, you have a young daughter. I have older kids.
Yeah.
So like my oldest son is 19.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, I'm getting older. You know? Like that's the reality. I never feel old.
Yeah.
Like I don't, but then I look at him, I'm like, oh man, he's like almost a grown ass man now.
Yeah.
It's that reality right in your face.
Yeah. Being aware, being very present. You know, I think some people go through their day to day and they're just walking through going through the motions. They're very disconnected from people. And another reason why I feel as I've been doing more inner searching, it's like we are here to not just inspire people, but connect. Like I want to connect with other people, other human beings and souls at a deeper level. Like it's beautiful just to be in this moment and be very present with you guys and being aware of the messaging that we're getting from each other. I'm trying to be that present and aware. And I think more people need to try and do that in their life.
The pastor of my church always says, if people matter to God, then they matter to us.
Yeah.
And that's like the overriding message of our church is like other people matter. Like our community matters. And the more we reach out and take care of people and ask how people are doing, because not everybody wants to be a leader either.
Yeah.
So it really does take those of us willing to step into that role to say, I will be a leader. I will ask how people are doing. I will go out into my community and help people. I will serve powerfully because we just know not everyone's doing it. So somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
So I got a few fun questions for you.
Okay, cool. Shoot them.
So
I'm ready.
I'm scared, man. If this dude ever got like really hyped up, I'd be frightened probably.
That's why I've never wanted to get in a fight in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I would really hurt somebody. I really do. I feel like I would accidentally kill somebody.
I'd be like,
I'm worried.
Brick, you gotta hang low for a while. Like you killed a man.
Yeah, and I would just hate that.
Baby Huey.
I avoid those situations.
All right, Tony, what is your favorite cereal?
Favorite cereal is actually Love Crunch peanut butter chocolate. It's a different type of brand. It's more of like a granola type thing.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's a go-to for me.
What about when you were a kid?
Raisin Bran. Yeah, I like Raisin Bran now. Mm-hmm.
So my dad used to eat Raisin Bran when he was a kid, or when I was a kid, and I'd be like, who the hell eats Raisin Bran?
Yeah.
And then like a few weeks ago, I'm in the store buying Raisin Bran. So.
I felt like it when I was younger. I didn't really like Raisin Bran.
Right.
But as I got older,
Raisin Bran's the shit, man.
I just like raisins. I don't know.
It's like Brussels sprouts. Kids don't appreciate that shit till they get older. Brussels sprouts are amazing.
Yeah, I'm not a crazy cereal guy.
Yeah. So next question I got you. I'm gonna be disappointed if you don't answer this the way I think you're gonna answer it. No pressure or anything. If you could be a superhero, who would you be?
If I could be a superhero, who would I be? It'd be Batman.
Really?
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta hear why.
Yeah. I've loved the Dark Knight series. Yeah. I love Christian Bale, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I just I love the whole concept of Batman and the Dark Knight. Yeah. Saving those that need help.
I'm not gonna lie, I had you for Hulk for sure.
No, that's
too easy.
Yeah, that's too easy. The Hulk.
I was hoping he'd say like Black Widow or something. That'd be kind of funny.
It's got all the gadgets and everything. And maybe when I process that, I would say probably 1-2 would be Wolverine.
Okay,
I'd love Wolverine.
Okay. You could get this going for you.
Yeah, I love his aggressive side. I love the fact that he can rejuvenate and he's got the claws that come out. Yeah, he's always been one of my favorites.
I like that. If you could have a billboard with a message on it that everyone sees, what would be on the billboard?
What would be on the billboard? You don't need a plan B. You don't need a plan B. And I think that's really helped me throughout my life. Anything I've ever done, you know, who needs a plan B, a plan C? That only distracts you from plan A. And so many people live their life where they go into something and they're half-assed. They're tiptoeing in, and they don't go all in. And I think if you can go all in and bet on yourself, and it's a win or die mentality, then you have no choice but to succeed. Yeah.
I love that. And again, so indicative of so many fitness coaches who are dipping their toe in and dip it out, and dip their toe in and dip it out. And, you know, well, I'll just do part-time and while I'm still bartending. And, and again, I'm not judging anybody, but then they wonder why their business isn't successful because they're not treating it like a business. They're not fully committed to doing it.
Yeah. You get exactly what you put into it. This universe, if you want it bad enough and you're willing to, like you said, go all in and put in all the work, this universe is going to give it to you. It's and I talk about this all the time, and I got it from watching Will Smith. I'm a big Will Smith fan, but I saw one of his videos when he was talking about the secrets to success, and he talks about that we are not this effect. You know, we are not this effect of everything else around us, and we are not this victim and helpless human being that is just going through. It's like, no, you control the shit that happens to you. You control your own destiny. And whatever you want in this world, you can go get it, you know, as long as you're willing to work for it.
Yeah, I remember an interview with him where he said, you know, the difference between me and you is I'm willing to die on the treadmill.
Yes.
Simple as that.
That was in that one.
And I love that mentality. And it goes back to your, you know, only a plan A. Like you go all in. You go all in until it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have an ask of our audience, anything, what would you ask our audience? It can be an action. It can be a mindset, literally anything.
Yeah, I would ask you to ask yourself those two simple questions of why are you here and what do you want? You know, and what that means. Truly dig deep and figure out what does that mean to you, right? When I break those things down beyond the legacy, what it means to me is truly enjoying the moments that you have, right? Enjoying the people that you have in your circle. If there's people around you that are pulling and sucking life from you or being energy drainers or negative, they shouldn't be in your life. They shouldn't be in your circle. You know, so for me, it's, am I enjoying what I'm doing? And if it doesn't sit well within my heart and within my soul, then I need to cut it out. When I dig deep, you know, I ask everyone that's listening to ask yourself those two questions and truly figure that answer out for what it is for you.
That's awesome, man. That's a scary question for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big time. Dude, you're awesome, man. I'm so glad that we crossed paths.
We can end the show on that. I'm cool.
Tell the people where they can connect with you,
Yes.
find out more about you, support you, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big year, folks. I am, you know, my goal is to be like you mentioned earlier, to be one of the top classic physique pros in the world. And you learned a little bit about me today, and I'm not going to stop until I get there. Absolutely, my eye is on, you know, being able to perform at the best stages on earth, and that's the Arnold and that's the Olympia. So, you know, we're going to have a great run this year, and you can follow that run and the things that I do fitness-wise, competing-wise, and in the gym at Tony Goat.
There we go.
Yeah, there's the goat.
There we
Tony
go.
Goat_Taveras. That's my Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook, Tony Taveras. And then also, you know, our business now, www.linearroofing.com to find out what I'm doing now with a business as well.
And I have zero doubt that you will be at the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero doubt.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool watching you get there,
Yes,
man.
sir. Hey, I'm competing here
Yeah.
at the Europa.
Oh, that's
Is
right.
the goal, and that's in June. So I want everyone who's listening right now that's local, come out.
We'll be there.
Support your boy. Support the GOAT, the local boy, at the Europa, because, you know, we're looking to get that Olympia qualification in the first show.
I'm gonna go get one of those mascot goat heads.
Yes.
Wear that.
That'd be
Well,
awesome.
because you probably still got a mask up anyway, so I might as well.
Yeah, might as well just have a goat head on. Have a whole have a whole section full of just goats. That would be fun.
Dude, that's great. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
You just dropped so much gold in here, man. And again, I hope if you're listening to this, the mindset that this man has is just, it's elite. That's the only way I can describe it. And it just tells me why you are where you are and why you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, and why I have no doubt that you'll continue to achieve whatever it is. So thank you so much for being here. We really, really, really appreciate it. Guys, follow him on the IG. And till next time, John, hit him with the tagline, baby.
And as always, go get what you're worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn good show.
Damn good.
Damn good.
Yeah.